This is Margaret in Windsor, and I've got to hurry here. I've already put a couple of videos up this morning, but I wanted to do this one before I go. I got to go out here. I'm waiting on somebody to pick me up, so I may have to jump and run, crawl. Excuse me. Be like Carol Burnett, your ear, right? um, anyway, it's this whole deal about that's not the royal family. That's fake monarchy there. Elizabeth's dad, they're not even sure that's her dad. I don't know. I know the lies told about my father. I know that that part's true about the Illuminati took my father down and replaced him with illegal George VI. So they're illegal George and Elizabeth and William and Kate and Diana and Charles and Camilla, and here comes Harry and Meghan. And that's where I'm going to leave it right at the moment. I'm hearing all this input about George Clooney, whose wife is an Italian attorney. Civil rights supposed to be really good one. Isn't it strange in all this? I haven't heard from civil rights. I haven't heard squat other than being told, no, they couldn't represent me. No, they couldn't help me. Attorneys, people, So, now then, I've sit and squall, and I thought, the Dipsy Dumpster. And that was the name of I think this was in Knoxville, I'm not sure. Well, I know where they pulled, his name was, oh God, I've forgotten his name, Billy Jack. Okay, Macklemore and Mary Ann. I won't get into Billy Jack and Mary Ann, how she slapped me across the face right in front of a cop sitting there, and I asked him to help me, and she walloped me across the face just because she could. Absolutely. They signed me up for their food stamps, and when they came back from Nashville out to Madison, this is some years ago, I'm going to tell this and I'll miss what else, but this has been ongoing life. Sometimes a million times worse, a little better than worse, or the equivalent, or anyway. Billy Jack connects back. There's links to the name when I was out at Mr. Flint's in the campaign in '83 to replace Congressman Dr. Larry McDonald, who I had written about in a medical malpractice book. Gotten a letter from the FBI, ongoing investigation, national security involved in all this. And the ongoing trying to get my name back, trying to live, trying to find my sons, hoping and praying they're okay, putting videos up, and thank God there are some people that care. Anyway, I wanted to get into this, and then people can get mad at me. Till maybe they've walked in my shoes, and I wonder how they would feel. If there's one lady that's responsible for sending the clothes that I have for just before Christmas and through. She sent me clothing, some nice things. I'm so appreciative, really. You know who I'm talking about, Buddy Holly. She knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, I just couldn't get the roses sent because I don't know how to use this contraption, okay, if you see this. Now then, I'm going to have to make this quick. Because I might get up and run, and I can't run. You know, they have taken my clothes, my money, my position. I've been tortured, and my children done the same. And when they hand you your baby and they've tried to kill him, and because he's heir to the crown after me, and then 11 and a half months later, you hand me another baby that's not mine. I gave birth, and I don't get him back until, to be honest with you, I know about the date, but I don't know exactly where I was, or I remember getting him back, and that was my baby Scott and my baby Mark. And you talk about stress and pain and what was done. Every breath I've ever taken was pain and suffering. And you got Diana flaunting all this that's not hers. You can say this and say that. No, it wasn't hers. They used the media to promote themselves, and their unlawful acts is exactly what it is. There's no other word. They're illegal. They knew it. Diana was told, we just don't talk about it. That's what to tell the press should they ever ask. I don't know, I may have that out here now, and I'm going to be in trouble. I'm not supposed to be here till 10. Anyway, I'm going to get off in a minute. I did want to say this with Mr. Clooney, upset over what's happened to the royal family being defamed and talked about, and Diana, poor thing, and Meghan, poor thing. The poor things, Meghan was married, today when they showed that picture about poor thing, she doesn't need stress when she's pregnant. Wow, look at what happened to me if you're ever forced to. Step in my shoes for a brief second and you couldn't take it. Now, Megan's got on this huge white hat that must have cost a bloody fortune, and then her clothes, and Clooney's concerned about her. She's not a royal. Believe me, she's not. I'm not even sure Harry's the real Harry, and even if he is, his father was not royal. His father's not Mountbatten, or Charles, excuse me. And it's so hideous. Oh, I want to say this, though. And this lady might not agree with me. I mentioned her earlier about the clothes, and a relative of mine did, Christmas was a year ago, she did, I don't know what's going on. Wow. I'm going to have to go, I guess. So let me get this up. She did give me some clothing that's in the suitcase over there. At Christmas, she said, about that time. Okay, now I wanted to say this, and somebody's going to get mad at me. I want justice, and nobody but God can do it at this point. Let's see, I'm going to laugh and use this as an example. People hate me anyway because I didn't do this. I'm the victim, and my kids, my mom and dad. And okay, Lady Godiva. Am I correct that she was sitting down the street naked on a horse? Okay. Now then, what if I'm able to, let's call it retaliate or use the law to do it, and somebody else can rip all these gowns off. Of course, some of them are dead. Now, I'm going to have everybody loving me on this one until hopefully it's stuffed down everybody's throat and they have to see it. How vulgar and sick and mean it all was. And then they can judge, maybe. Let's put them all down the street naked, tearing off all the gowns and jewels and hats and crowns that don't belong to them. Let's send them down naked. Let's send them up on the Appalachian Trail and everywhere else in Atlanta, Georgia, when I'd been stuff done to me that is so sick because I was telling the truth. And God only knows if it's ever told. But let's see them go buck naked and Dempsey dive in the dumpster, because that was, I'm going to get back to this now. I started out this way. When Billy Jack McLemore, he was out in the Army, and he lived I met him and Mary Ann and the two children in Chattanooga at a Salvation Army I was begging to stay at. And then they took me out to a place they had been evicted from, I believe now, and it had rats in it. And I slept all night long thinking I was going to eat up by a rat. Okay, the two girls, they took me and stole some of my stuff that I had from the campaign in a suitcase, some decent gloves, the only thing I'd had, and I haven't had any since until now, last year, when that my relative sent me that some clothing, and in this year when this she knows who I'm talking about. But she may not agree with me here about the run them down the street buck naked, pull all of it. That's what they did to me, and plus all the other hell and things that were done to me. You talk about buck naked, I was just there. Now, Dempsey Dive. That's the name of the people where I was put, and I had to use that name, Peggy Ann Dempsey married Childers, and all the hell that went on. Now, there was dumpsters up in Knoxville, and I don't know, that's a company that owns the dumpsters. So Dempsey was the name of the people where I grew up, and it was a dumpster dive, believe me, trying to live, eat, have clothes or anything, and not be beaten every day of my life and called names. I was paying for the Dempsey's crimes and those of the Illuminati and the people that did this. So now then, if they were treated like they treated me, well, people would hate me. It's an oddity. Well, anyway, I'm going to go back to Billy Jack, and this connects back to the link when I was out at Flint's in October of '83 during the campaign. And Billy Jack was the name of the movie. It's about, okay, who played that? I just said his name. I met him anyway, out at Flint's. Tom Laughlin. Very nice. And the movie was about Indian, and I can't remember. That was a long time ago. I think I saw part of the movie, I know. But anyway, that's the connection, the Billy Jack. And Billy Jack told me just before he left it might have been the Navy, I can't remember. One of his officers pulled him off in the room and told him what he was going to be doing, and it was meeting me and what he was going to be doing. So here I am in Chattanooga, and then came to Madison, Tennessee, and then on up here. So this is Billy Jack, and this is all I'm going to tell about the Dempsey Dive. I was up in the attic, tiny fan burning up. They put me on their food stamps, and then they ate them. I didn't get them, anything to eat. And there were flies, and the water was cut off, and all this. And then I worked for Wachter for a week or two, an attorney who owned the log cabins. There were two of them. And the guy next door I had met in Atlanta, in Marietta, when John and I were divorced, or supposed to be, and I had to move in next door to John and got this he was a mailman then, supposed to be up there in Madison next door to Billy Jack, and where I was living, there was two log cabins. And by the way, Earl Scruggs' son lived two doors up behind the rescue unit there in Madison. Anyways, there's something to that. But back to this, if I haven't lost you. I've lost myself, I think, because I'm in a hurry and can't. Anyway, let me just put it this way. I worked for Wachter, the attorney, and he owned this. And supposedly Billy Jack and Mary Ann and me help out, I guess, whatever I could in reconstructing the log cabin, because it was hot. It was filthy. It didn't have anything. It wasn't finished. It was torn up. Flies came through the window of the toilet. You couldn't flush it. I was put in the attic where it was so hot and miserable. Then they'd turn the two little girls loose on me up there and let them run wild. And I was trying to walk across to the shopping center where I worked at night selling photo. What was it? Oh, I can't remember now. But anyway, making a few bucks. But I made a few bucks with Wachter, the attorney. Guess who comes out and hands my check to? It's made out to me. I work for it. He hands it to Billy Jack. So if I say anything, I can get the hell out on the street again and start walking. Now then, they put me on their food stamp that you had to go to Nashville, so I don't have a way. They came back, and the two girls have bags, potato chips, all this candy, all this stuff, and food. I didn't get a bite. they used the food stamps that they had put me on there, and I didn't get a penny of it. Nothing. Nothing. Excuse me. Now, Billy Jack took me over to the Salvation Army, and there in Dempsey Dumpster, somebody, just as we drove up, put a twin bed mattress in the dumpster. So, waited till he was through. Billy Jack pulled it out. It had where somebody had menstruated and urined on it, and it was filthy and dirty, and he brought it back, and that's what I slept on. While all this is going on with the two little girls coming up there, turned loose in the attic to run loose and have fun, and then to get slapped with a cop standing there watching it and grinning by Mary Ann and Billy Jack, because the daughter, their youngest daughter, used I'm going to get graphic here. I mean, it was so bad all along. But she would go out and they would let her, and she'd use the sidewalk to defecate on. And she'd do it up next to the Scruggs there, where the fire engines or the rescue came out. She could have been run over. So I made a phone call about the food stamps and to them, and they came out, and she knew that somehow that I had called them. So that's the reason she slapped me across the face. And they made it so bad I had to leave. I didn't even have a place to go then, and I ended up coming up here to Roanoke. So there's your, what if I turned all these people that have stolen from me, and half of them are dead, but let's just put it this way and you get mad at me. What if Diana were back and Elizabeth and all this, and the people who done this to my dad, me, my children, my mom, and country, and I were to strip them buck naked and make them run down the street riding a horse like Lady Godiva. And I hope this lady doesn't get mad at me for using that reference. Let me say this. It's very nice of you, okay?